being said, we're going to talk about edged weapons.
Knives, yes, it is my world, my love, my sweet. I have
I'm
four of
more
them sitting in the
guns.
back room.
I love guns. This individual likes knives. Now, all right, go on. You want to do the video?
Okay. Various knives that I do own so far, mostly they're made in Pakistan, so not the greatest quality. Some cheapos right now, but I'm planning later on getting some all-American made stuff. And if I remember right, that is from Cold Steel, correct?
Yep, the mini tac, the Kiridashi,
Yeah,
in Taiwan.
made in Taiwan.
All right.
Ugh.
This is actually, I don't know exactly what they decided they wanted to purpose this thing as, but it can be
That
used for a variety of reasons.
that would be a more of a tactical, kind of like last ditch type of neck knife for
This thing,
self-defense.
yeah, well, I use it as a neck knife. This thing would make a decent self-defense knife. I mean, you got this nice little groove here. Really, really good grip. I mean, you got a traditional Japanese Kiridashi, and you go it up against this. This thing wins every time. This point right here, oh my god, I love that point. The blade, it needs sharpened. Why? Because I've abused the shit out of it in order to test it. But I love this thing. It's good.
Now, here's the questions. Do you have the proper stones to sharpen that?
Yes, I do. In the other room. I don't feel like getting them. So let's take a look at this thing. It's short, so you got to get in close. Chances are you're going to get that close anyways. Correct?
It kind of depends on what kind of situation you're in. If you're in a knife fight, the length of the weapons can vary, unlike guns.
Well, here's the thing. If you're in a knife fight, you probably fucked up somewhere.
Or you just don't own a gun, and neither does the other guy. In that case,
All
it all
right.
comes down to skill and the length of the blade. I mean, that thing compared to some of the stuff I got, yeah, you wouldn't last too long.
Shout. Okay. This thing, obviously, look at it. It's not so much meant for slashing.
It's meant to get
That
in there
part,
very close and stab.
yes. You only need about 3 inches in the trunk of anyone, and they're done.
Although, about how wide is that blade in terms of thickness?
Thickness, it's not very thick at all. As you can see,
That
not
is...
thick.
No, turn it around. Turn it around. Like 180. To where the back is showing. The back swedge there. Yeah, that's not something you would want to try and parry another knife with. Because something with a slightly thicker stock and more weight on it, snap that thing in two.
Precisely. I mean, so if you're trying to block it, it's going to break the knife.
Say, in the extreme rare chance you were ever to come up against someone with a, well, this is completely stupid and ridiculous, but a Scottish Claymore, for instance, against that thing, yeah, you're fucked.
What he's saying is weight.
Yes. Weight, length, the reach of your arm, it all makes a
Thicker
difference.
knives. Thicker knives tend to have more durability and longer life in the long run anyways.
And as far as all that goes, it also comes down to the quality of the steel you're using. Like, well, one of the main ones I know right now is VG10, comes from Japan. Very, very durable, very nice steel. Takes an edge very well. It's also extremely hard, so it's not going to wear out over time. It can take a very heavy beating.
Another thing is you want to factor in the design of how they got the thing built.
Mm-hmm.
Example, a lot of the Japanese katanas from way back in the day, they would have hardened steel over a soft core. What that would do is the soft core would absorb the impact, increasing the life of the blade. That's why Japanese katanas were so famously able to cut through 3 or 4 people at once, cut through an armored individual right in half. from neck to groin.
Now,
Now, have I seen any of this? No.
If you compare some of the Asian or Japanese weapons to some European swords, the Europeans were more meant for, like, bashing and things like that, and occasionally slicing through certain body parts and dismembering, but mostly they were just, shock and awe weapons.
And poking.
Yeah, poking, very good at stabbing. They can penetrate just about anything.
Now, here's another thing. A lot of these European swords, you cut somebody with a sword, it requires you to move more with strength. There's a lot more movement there. You're going through a full-blown rah.
Well, it depends on whether if you're using a broadsword or if you're fencing with a rapier.
Pokey pokey.
Because rapiers is just kind of like a straight line and small circles, along with a dagger in your other hand to deflect any blows that your opponent might throw at you.
I always thought rapier sword fighting was just kind of flitty.
It requires a lot of skill and is very precise in its hits.
I know, I'm just saying it looks kind of gay.
Uh,
The men who love to use the rapier are the men that love men.
Okay, going back to some more modern day knives, take your standard Bowie knife, for instance. That's something everybody recognizes, especially from the Rambo movies. And, well, slasher flicks. I mean, I got one sitting in the back room. I ain't gonna go grab the thing, because, well, that's just too far to walk, so... Oh, yeah. So, slasher, or Bowie knife, fairly well known, good for multiple applications like chopping and everything else.
Survival.
Survival as well. It's a bit impractical when it comes to carrying around, especially if you're trying to conceal the fucking thing, because...
Also, you gotta look into the laws for whether or not you're allowed to carry it. In my state of Missouri, the only way you can carry a Bowie knife is if you have a conceal and carry permit. I do.
Bad.
So I'm legally allowed to conceal and carry a Bowie knife, but will I do it? No.
And most of the knives I carry around when I'm out and about are like little pocket folders or maybe my smaller 8-inch fixed blade, but that thing is just, it's a little bit annoying, honestly, because ever you try to sit down with a fixed blade, especially one that's in a sheath, it just kind of rides up, jabs you in the kidney, and it takes some getting used to. Let's see. Also,
Personally, I like fixed blades more than I like the folders, because the folders, a lot of them tend to be cheaply made, and every once in a while when you got these more expensive ones, you got a quality control issue, and the damn thing breaks.
Well, I've had some really cheaply made folders that were fucking amazing when it comes to quality. It really just depends on who you get them from and what kind of steel they're actually made out of.
Cold Steel, SOG, CKRT. Let me see, who else built a really good folder?
Spyderco, Benchmade.
Yeah.
Couple others that I can't really remember off the top of my head. There's a Swedish company I know of, but Opial. There we go. They build a good one. Let's see.
Also, when you want to talk about knives, you gotta talk about the legality. Because of a bunch of idiots in Washington, the same idiots who say banning guns would stop crime, they believe that a switchblade or a balisong knife, aka the butterfly knife, that comes from my country, well, my mother's country,
Philippines.
Those are more deadly, and since they should be banned. The butterfly knife and the switchblade are heavily regulated simply because you can open them up with one hand, and they're considered to be evil, horrible things.
I can open up any folder with one hand. That law makes no sense.
Precisely. But because there's this gangbanger image to it from way back in the day, they're banned. Think about the legality of what blade you're carrying and your state.
And don't bother to ask me about what the laws are in your state, because I don't know where you live. I don't know what the laws are. You're just wasting your time. Look it up for yourself.
Look.
Ask a lawyer.
Yeah. Like in Missouri, you can carry a balisong knife so long as it's under 4 inches. I do not see a point in that.
And in Indiana, you really can't carry anything that's over 7 inches. Even my 8-inch fixed blade back there is really pushing the limit. Yeah. Which is why I prefer to just carry a pocket knife on me all the time, or keep a Leatherman around. So. Anything else? Oh, just out of popularity, the Gurkha Kukri. Amazing, amazing example of a knife. More
if
for,
you're getting
hmm?
if you're getting a kukri, I suggest you get one from one of the sites that actually produce it. Himalayan Imports produce some handmade kukris in traditional fashion. In other words, taking the spring steel from vehicles and pounding it out into the knife. What they do is they use an anvil, which is made out of a sledgehammer, and they build it from that. It's a really high quality piece.
Or if you want to do it completely original, go to Nepal and buy one off a blacksmith.
But you see here the thing, Himalayan Imports, they actually they produce them from Nepal.
Now, if only I could remember where the hell Nepal was. Or is.
Nepal, the whole reason why the kukri is used for is the standard for the British Army is because way back in the day, the Muslims that were there would go up against the British. Yeah. But they were Muslim. I have to point that out because everyone always rats on the Muslims. They would go off and they'd run at these guys without a fear in the world, and they'd kill like 5, 6 of them. At that point, the British saw, you know what? I have a better idea. This land is small. Let's let them keep it, and let's bring them into our army. See where that went?
One of those guys, or like 5 of those guys with those knives, never want to meet them in a dark alley, especially if they're pissed off.
Well, you see, that's why I'm nice to everyone.
And just as a general, safety tip, don't piss somebody off because you never know what the fuck they've got on them.
True that, true that, true that.
Anyway. I think we've pounded the weapons home for tonight. What do you say?
Alright, you done?
Fuck, I'm not done. I still got more ideas, damn it.